Hello and welcome to a video. This is Greek King Renee here, talking about one of the most debated topics among every E4 player, and that is idea groups. So today, you can probably read the title, we're going to be discussing offensive versus defensive. Which one is better? And opinions vary, so it's completely fine if you and I do not agree on this topic. Anyway, so on that note, I think we're just going to start breaking down the defensive ideas. Now, defensive ideas are pretty good. I really like them as an early game idea. The first two ideas are the best ideas. They work really well. They're at the beginning of the group. Most groups you have to wait till the end to get good stuff like the discipline and all that stuff. But this, you get the first two ideas are really good with the battlefield commission, giving you army tradition, which leads to better pips on your generals, and morale of armies, which is really big early game, early to mid game, since morale is a huge game changer. Oops. And you get land leader maneuver, which is pretty good if you want to get rid of crossing penalties. Maintenance is good for a strong economy. So if you've got a weak economy, this is pretty good along with the quantity. It's got the same modifier. For maintenance, see there, and then defensiveness is pretty good if you're expecting to be attacked. Reinforced speed, which is it makes your guys reinforce faster, which means the guys refill quite a bit faster. It's a plus 33%. And land attrition down 25%, which is, I really like that one, because when you siege down a bit, especially in Russia, like here, you take a lot of attrition. So that's a really nice idea. And attrition for enemies is pretty good. I like to take this group early. It kind of loses its luster later in the game when morale becomes less valuable and you're much bigger and all that stuff. But early game, it's really good. I like to take this group as, well, I don't always take this group. It's kind of like depends on who I'm playing. Sometimes if it gives me like an over-the-top advantage, like as the Ottomans, they've got extra pips and discipline start, or France, that gives them unstoppable armies until like Age of Absolutism. So same with the Ottomans and maybe even Poland and Sweden. And sometimes even Prussia, even though they get formed a bit later. I also like to do it as countries that see themselves under attack and have a lot of force, such as, well, first thing that came to mind was definitely the Teutonic Order. They've got a lot of force, and they're constantly under attack. Maybe Provence, that's a bit more different, but yeah, Provence is pretty good. Is a good option to take it as. They're definitely more like maybe Grenada, or there are definitely other countries. So if you like, morale, and it really depends on how you play. But in my opinion, this is a pretty powerful early game idea group. Now offensive, looking at it early game, isn't it's not super good. The offensive ideas starts out with land leader shock, which is pretty good. Recruitment time, which is I don't really like it much, but you might. A fire pip, prestige from battles, siege ability, force limit modifier, and discipline. Then you get recovery army morale speed. So, the I'm just gonna assume what all these mean. These give your generals more pips. It makes you recruit soldiers not quite as fast. You get double the amount of prestige from winning land battles. You get siege ability, which lowers the time each siege turn takes. Force limit improves your force limit, which is kind of self-explanatory. And discipline is it is a direct modifier to your military tactics. Um. Anyway, as an early game idea, I don't like it too much due to like not all this is super helpful. You want a shock pip early game, that's pretty nice. But the recruitment time, like fire, land leader fire, prestige from land battles, siege ability, force limit, and discipline are much bigger late game, other than the recruitment time, alright? Because there's a lot more fire late game. There are bigger forts late game. The percentage modifiers matter a lot more late game because you get a base which is more, so the percentages modify more. So late game is like a lot about fire and sieging and discipline, which is all what you want late game. And early game, it's not really as desired as it is late game. It could be taken early, but I really don't like early game. I find it kind of useless other compared to other military ideas I could be taking. That's not naval. I never take naval. Anyway. Um. Anyway, which one do I think is better? It's a really tough choice. Offensive ideas are handily my favorite late game idea group in the game. It tops every single other one on this list. Easily the most helpful. But it really isn't super good early game. Defensive is pretty good early game, but kind of loses its luster late game. So I don't know. I'm not even gonna say which one I think is better since I really don't have an answer. This one's really good early game. This one's really good late game. So, thank you for watching my breakdown of these two fantastic Europa idea groups. And I will see you next video, maybe. Oh yeah, please like and subscribe.